as per usual, it'll be recorded and posted up on the DiveTribe homepage. So mind your P's and Q's. Saturday, 27th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I have a question for you. Because it seems like I can't win no matter what I do. Do you guys find the email reminder that I send out? Typically I do it in the morning. Today I forgot to come to this, or do you guys, you're already set and it's just extra emails you don't need?
I think I need it, Bob.
I look at the calendar.
The calendar, okay.
I don't have one of
I
those
have
anymore.
my Google Calendar set up to remind me.
Right.
Well,
Because I catch a ton of flack from people who are like, I missed the DiveTribe because you didn't remind me about it. I'm like, ah. So I just need to know if I need to like schedule those reminders to come.
We're all big boys here.
yeah, you have a set schedule. It's not like you do it randomly. It's every other Saturday at 3 p.m. You locked it in, and there's no excuse. Like I said, we're all adults here.
I appreciate the reminder. I was actually helping my buddy paint his airplane, and I ran home to get to the DiveTribe. So thank you.
Well, that's cool. I appreciate you stopping what you were doing to come play with us today.
Make a liar out of me, Bob.
I'll continue to send the reminders out. Actually, I'll set it up in the calendar to have it go out. Yeah, so geez, what's happened since last time we talked? I talked about, I don't know how many of you guys watched my YouTube live. That was on Thursday. I got some really cool boats in, and I promised I was going to take video, and I didn't have a chance yesterday, but I will next week. A beautiful OTW upholder with a brand new OTW dive module. I got a Shearline Akula in with a Shearline watertight cylinder. And I didn't realize this, but it must be like a really early version. It doesn't look like Matt's on with us, but it looks like those early Shearline Akulas were designed so that the top rudder was solid with the top support, and then the bottom rudder was like triple sized, and then it actuated, and then the rear dive planes, instead of having a support and a separate dive plane, the whole thing tilted. So I thought that was really interesting to take a look at that old school kind of way of doing it. The last one I got in was the Schurman class submarine. I had featured that, I think maybe like a year ago. If you haven't had the chance, it's a really cool video on my channel. It's a really unique boat with X-tail control surfaces in the back. Just a ton of fun to drive. It was fun to go back. So that's back in the shop. All three of those boats I'm going to go through and offer up for anyone that's interested. And if you haven't seen it too, I listed up a scratch and ding sub, a Revell GATO that someone had put together. It's got like lights and sound and retracting bow planes and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a deluxe fixer-upper opportunity for anybody that wants to nab an additional boat or a first boat or whatever you want. That's up on my site as it stands right now.
By the way, Bob Demick sent me the specs for the Vanguard periscope array.
Okay.
He doesn't have them anymore, but he gave me all the dimensions and materials, so that was helpful.
With that, you should be able to find somebody to draft them and print them for you.
Yeah.
I goofed around with. I've got the digital. I drafted the CAD files for the Russian periscopes and masts, like for Akula, Alpha, Typhoon, and I 3D printed those in steel, and it turned out pretty good.
Cool.
Just the tips, and then you mount them to like an aluminum, tube or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that, and then let's see what else I got going on. And then I also teased, and actually I should put this up because it wasn't very good. on the live, it didn't work out very good. Pull up that gargantuan. GATO, that 10-foot long GATO, 32nd scale. That was a beast.
Got me beat.
This one's going to be done next week. This is a 32nd parallel type 23. If you guys aren't familiar with them, these are the, can you see my screen, by the way, before okay, all right. So those were styrene kits. They were, I think they were back formed, if I'm not mistaken. Really cool kit. Same scale as Bob Dinmack's, I believe. I don't remember, but anyhow, yeah, really cool boat. That'll be done first part of next week, Monday or Tuesday. It'll be lake trials. So that was really cool. And then, so that we trimmed that out. And this was the, that GATO that I got. That's up for sale as is and where is for anyone interested in grabbing that thing. It's got kind of a cool like weathered paint job on it. And this is that that big GATO. I think it was built in like the early 90s. And the guy that sent it to me, I don't think he ever got it working. He bought it, you know, ages and ages ago, and he had it stored for like 10 years. And he wants it all upgraded to modern stuff inside. But the ballast system was super interested. At first, I thought it was CO2. It's got two 4-liter ballast tanks, one in the front and one in the back. But at first, I thought it was a big CO2 canister in there. But he said no. The guy that put it together was a welder, and it was a compressed air canister that held, and I believe he said 4,000 psi of air pressure.
Wow.
That scares me just thinking about it. But at any rate, that's going to all get gutted, and we'll go with either a CO2 or a pump.
Where would he get the resources to come up with that kind of pressure?
Well, again, he had his own like company that had the equipment on site to compress the air to that amount. So I guess it was fine for him.
Johann Sauer works with diver tanks, 3,000 psi, whatever that is.
Well, that's above my pay grade.
So that was originally a dry hull?
It is a dry hull, and it will be a dry hull as well. I'm gonna retain the central dry compartment because it's set up with a beautiful drivetrain. It's got 4 Pitman motors ganged together with some really high quality belt drives in 2 pairs, and those run out the back with a traditional, you know, like boat style stuffing box, those really long brass tubes with the nipple on it that you pump grease into.
It almost sounds like it started life as a 32nd parallel kit.
You know, it's possible, but I get the, like, looking at it, it feels scratch built, but I've never seen a 32nd parallel hull, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, I have, but I haven't seen this one. So
Yeah. All right. So yeah, those are the boats coming down. I'm still fighting to get the time to finish up the 300 series sub drivers. The prototype's close. Like I'd say, if I could get 2 or 3 hours, I'll have it knocked out. But that's tricky for me. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I got going on. I go, in case anybody cares or is trying to get a hold of me, next week, I got to fly Renee up for a trade show to Orlando. And then it was my birthday on the 10th, but because of things, we're celebrating this weekend coming up. So I'm going to be leaving on Friday and not coming back till Sunday. So don't try and get a hold of me.
Bob, I just ordered stuff from Engel Model now. I got the motor, but the guy have really massive problem to get the stuff also from the supplier. So he's dry now, I would say. He's out with products, and it's not easy for him also.
Did you say, sorry, that was Engel that you ordered from?
Yeah, I just got it today. Spare parts also for the Acula 2, the mast system, and so they'll deliver in 2 days. But the motor just arrived when I called him. So, but he has massive problems to get his stuff also. So
yeah. So on that topic, just so everybody knows, I obviously deal with a number of vendors overseas, and primarily in Europe, they're experiencing a lot of
Bob, you stopped.
Yeah, froze.
You're frozen.
Frozen Bob. Popsicle.
Steve, I saw some pictures of the rollout of one of your subs, and it definitely had that appendage on the bottom. But it didn't tell me anything about what it does, but it is definitely there.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I got it on mine based on a drawing.
That's perfect.
I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I just got a flash on mine that said Bob Martin left. I think we kind of figured that one out.
Yeah.
His system locked up.
Yeah, on the subject of Engel, I received an order from them as well. It only took to the US, it took just 10 days. So it wasn't, I ordered some motors and some electronic stuff off them.
I call him always to check it up, because on the website sometimes it's not on, but when I call him, he say, yes, it's there, or it's not there, or it's ordered, or back order. So it's the best way actually to call him. Like Norbert Brücken. I never had problems with Norbert Brücken. I call him, I need this, okay, send your email, and then he sends it right away out. So it's really easy dealing with him.
Well, for the Engel order, while it did take 10 days for him to ship it, it took him 12 days to respond to my order. So it took quite a while. And the only way he responded to me was when I emailed him directly from his site. When you go on the site, there's a way to contact him and it automatically emails him. That's the only way, but I made the order and I was wondering why I got no invoice to pay. And then after 12 days, I finally emailed him, and then he immediately emailed me back. Well, a different person emailed me back, not Gregory, but like I said, 10 days, that's not bad.
Hello, Bob, you're back. No, I think it's the problem that he don't get his stuff also. Maybe it's this the point. Maybe because he was maybe waiting to deliver you as soon as possible for my suggestion. So
Bob, you're muted.
There we go.
Thank you.
My computer like literally died, like everything died. So I'm on my phone now. Apologies. I was saying, and I don't know what I missed, I apologize, but all the vendors that I deal with, like overseas, are basically saying that like COVID is still posing a massive supply issue for them. Shipping is a big issue for them. And now on top of everything else, if you're ordering anything out of the UK, I would certainly clarify final pricing with your vendors prior to placing an order, because not only, you know, COVID and everything that's going on with that, but with Brexit, everything is all up in the air. You know, vendors are unable to provide, vendors are jacking up prices. And so all of our suppliers are forced to deal with that as well. And I think the biggest thing is, you know, the people that I deal with, if they're typically quoting like 2 weeks, now they're saying it's probably safer if you look at 4 weeks or something like that. So just bear that in mind, that you know, in our global economy, you know, there's some hiccups in the supply chain that we didn't necessarily have to deal with before, but are certainly impacting us.
Especially
now.
with Suez Canal.
Yeah, that's exciting.
When do you expect to get stuff from Matthew Beck, Bob?
Oh my God. So I can't get, and hopefully Matt's here. I would love for him to chime in, but I guess if he's not, I can't nail down dates. It's always like soon. He showed me your cylinder. It's,
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
it's done. We're almost done.
yeah.
So it's close, and then he'll ship it out, and you'll get it. I think the problem with Matt, and this isn't a problem. This is a situation that Matt is facing. He's a new vendor and a one-man operation, so I can absolutely relate and sympathize with the situation. As a vendor, it becomes very, very tempting to try and become like a one-stop shop for people, and people always come to you and say, you should make this and you should make that, and you know, I want this, and you never ever want to say no. And so I think, you know, when he started, he had what, like 3 or 4 hull kits, and he was getting his cylinders from some other place. But now he's got, you know, like whatever, 6 with like 3 more on the bench. Plus he's having to manufacture, you know, dive modules now that his partner went away. Plus he's going to try and offer, you know, electronics from Tim. So this is like kind of scope creep, and he's playing catch up with all of that. And he's doing, you know, a good job. He's doing the best that he can. But I think that's just the situation that's going on right now. I have zero doubt whatsoever that everything that's ordered is going to get fulfilled. It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And honestly, I am really glad that he hit the market, because we can do with more vendors. I would love more vendors. As weird as that sounds, coming from somebody who has like competing products, I wish we had 10 more of companies that, you know, could support this hobby.
Well, and he's such a good guy.
He is.
Bob, you going to keep your relationship with Otto Gurza?
Am I going to? Yeah, I deal with Otto every day.
He has some nice products coming out if he could just actually get it.
Yeah, you know, and again, it's there's a couple things going on there. Obviously, it's the same supply issues that everybody else is fighting. But over and above that, he still has a full-time job as well, and his company's exploded. You know, he makes amazing products. And I think last time I emailed him, he said he had something like 50 orders outstanding. So it's just a matter of being absolutely and utterly backed up. But my challenge with Otto's products, and I've kind of mentioned this before, like the photo etch, for example, everybody wants it, everybody loves it, but there's, you know, one photo etch kit for each individual model kit on the market. And if he's got 20 or 30 out there, that means if I want to support my customers properly, I have to hold inventory for 20 or 30 different model kits worth of brass photo etch. And it's not cheap. It could easily turn into thousands and thousands of dollars. And then the issue is, you know, I'm not making it. I'm making, you know, whatever, 10% on it. So I sell a photo etch kit and I make $10, you know, $15. Is it worth my time? So that's what I'm struggling with right now. You know, I would much rather focus on, because he can sell to everybody, but I would much rather focus on the products that I specialize in, and that, to be brutally honest, I can make a living at selling.
There's the nice thing about the photo etch though is you have a reason to buy the products instead of like sharing STL files.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I think Otto took the right path with his 3D files, and that they're not offered without the photo etch and the you know the small parts and the decals and the blueprints. So it's a way of kind of, you know, making sure that people are on the straight and level, because they might be able to share out the files, but then there are going to be big holes in the model where the photo etch, you know, is supposed to go. He's doing a great job, and honestly, and I did a little video on that little type 21 72nd scale boat. That is a cool little model, a really cool little model. I've got 2 orders in backup, because what we've got going on, I'm 3D printing them here in the US for anybody that orders from the US, and then Otto drop ships all of the peripheral equipment. But I'm gonna actually see if I can start knocking those out on my resin printer, because I think they'll be more conducive than some of the larger models. So we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully it'll go a little faster than the FFM printers, and it'll be a better product as well.
I printed out the 72nd in resin. It looks beautiful.
You did? I'd love to see pictures if you could share that, because that's what I want to do on the next one.
Okay, I can do that.
And actually the photon that I've got, that Model X or whatever it's called, like I could probably digitally combine a few of the hull sections together so they print as one piece, so there's no seams, you know. So instead of how there's like 7 hull sections, you know, maybe there could be 4 or 3 hull sections. That would be good.
Yeah, I've got the Mighty 4K, and yeah, it printed out beautifully.
Nice. All right, did someone else chime in? Did I step on you?
Jason, what scale is it?
1/72.
It is fiberglass or it is styrene?
No, we're talking about Otto's 1/72 Type 21 3D printed kit. So you can buy it either as a 3D printed kit that you assemble, or you can buy the STL files and print it yourself.
Understand. Bob?
I think he was talking about Jason. He's got his submarine there in his hand and he's muted.
Oh, sorry. I'm on my phone. I can only see one person at a time.
What is Otto's website, Bob?
All right, Bob. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, since we were on the subject of 72nd Type 21s, this was just up in the Raptor, so I grabbed it. I made this probably 25 years ago, and it's fiberglass. I made the mold myself, and I kind of based it on, does anybody remember the old combat models kits?
Yes.
Terrible.
They were terrible. They were vacuum formed plastic. Well, I didn't exactly take a mold, use that to get the dimensions. I don't know if it's very accurate. I made a couple that I finished, incredibly old, and this one's just been sitting around that I never finished. But it is fiberglass, and it is 1/72. I just thought I'd show it off since we were talking about 1/72 Type 21s.
There you go. That's cool.
Bob, what is Otto's website?
rcsubs.cz.
Yes, I think so.
Thank you.
I think I think what's going on is he prefers to like sell through me, because then he only has to deal with me. I think if you look on his website, he says all sales are suspended currently, but I know it was that way. I don't know if it's changed it.
Yeah, I just want to see what he has. I would order through you, obviously.
So you can do whatever you want, but yeah, no, he's got a ton of cool stuff. Lots of cool, obviously the 3D printed kits, but his brass photo etch kits are really where the moneymaker is. Those are just absolutely gorgeous. He is my supplier for all of my Disney Nautilus brass photo etch deck plates for the new kits, and the 77th Nautilus. And
good, thank you.
Bob, concerning the WTCs, the new product line from David, they have only one size in diameter.
So David, in the day, you know, when he was just making cylinders for me, that he had many. So the issue, and it was, again, you know, I'm paying say $500 per cylinder, and he had a specific cylinder for the 2-inch cylinder for the Type 7, a 2.5 for the Type 9, a 2.5 for the GATO, a 2.5 generic, a 3, you know, so there was like 10 different cylinders that I had to try and keep in stock. I worked with him and we switched it to what we call this MSD idea, where it was more generic. You could cut the sections into whatever lengths you want, but he had 2-inch, 2.5-inch, and 3-inch in the MSDs. I've got parts, but the problem is, while Dave's product was amazing and really well engineered, it was never ever designed for manufacturing. It was, I don't know how he did it, but they are so incredibly labor intensive to build. I don't know if you've ever dissected one, but just the equipment tray, the aluminum equipment tray, is all, you know, cut aluminum and bent and riveted, and it's just incredible the amount of work that goes even to just that one component in the watertight cylinder. So in my redesign of the 3-inch generic, it was designed for the outset for DFM, designed for manufacturing. It's simple, repeatable, easy, and quick. Not to say any quality has gone away. It was just designed to make it easier to build the kits.
For the mass production, actually, the new ones.
Right. And what I'm going to do, and I've told you guys this before, I'm going to offer it in 2 options. You can buy the parts, and I'll have a detailed walkthrough. Step 1, step 2, step 3. You can build it yourself, and I am going to incentivize people to do it that way, because I feel strongly that you should be able to build your cylinder, take your cylinder apart, troubleshoot your cylinder, maintain your cylinder. And a lot of times when I sell a cylinder to people, they have no idea how it works. They take a look at it and they try and make it go, and it doesn't work. And then I get an email or a phone call, or like it's broken, or I can't figure it out. So I'm going to push people to get the kit version and build it themselves. But I will also offer it as a fully built version for those people with, you know, the money to throw at that.
Because I'm looking for a WTC for the old 212 model in 1:96 scale. By chance, I got one hull from David. So
okay.
I don't know if the new WTC will fit in it. Because the really tiny boat, it is something like, I don't know, 57 meter, something like 50, 60 centimeters long only.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them. I would say that would be more of a 2.5-inch cylinder.
Yes, I think so also, yes.
Yep.
Do you offer the size of diameter? Or
right now, I'm not selling any cylinders. I don't have anything to offer anybody because I'm out of stock of Dave's old cylinders, and I don't have anything new. So I've elected not to continue to push the old style of cylinder until I redesign the new ones. And it's going to start with the 3-inch. 3-inch will get out, and then I'm going to go down to the 2.5.
Understand? Yes, that's the right way. Yes.
I know a lot of people are going to be super frustrated. They got kits sitting on the shelf, and all I can say is, man, if you can find a cylinder someplace else, you will not hurt my feelings to buy it there. I don't want to feel responsible for holding up your projects, but you know, I got to do the best that I can to, you know, make the right choice for the business and the hobby.
I will do a question in the forum. Maybe somebody have something left over. I don't know. I have to see.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Bob.
Bob, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So you were saying earlier about the number of customers that buy a watertight cylinder, run into a problem, right away they're emailing you, hey, it doesn't work, or this or that. Do you find that the the people that are buying model submarines from you, the majority of them they would rather just buy it all ready to go, not have to do a thing, just put it in the water. Because I've always submarines sort of appeal to people that like the technical challenge, because they're not easy. You know, the stuff are hard, and that's part of the fun of it.
They do, and I would say, based on my experience, 40% of people are the I want to know everything about it. You know, why does this work? Can I swap this out? Can I make it better? You know, I got this cylinder, I took it apart, I put it back together. The other 60% are the first camp. You know, they want to pay, and they're willing to pay thousands of dollars for a model with absolutely zero idea whatsoever how it works.
And they don't want to know. They don't care. They just want it to work.
Yeah, I have had so many people are like, I can't figure out how it turns on. I'm shipping it back. I'm like, whoa. Wait. Not that they want to return it. They're like, fix it, you know, figure it out and then send it back to me. And I'm like, you're going to pay $100 shipping back here and another $150 for me to spend hours on whatever. And then another $100 to ship it back. Like, this could all be rectified in 15 minutes if you just stopped and like took a look at it.
I'd like to chime in here, you know, because I think about that a lot, Bob. I wouldn't pretend to tell you how to run your business, because I mean, money talks, and I'm sure if somebody comes up to you and plops money down, tells you, build this for me, you build it for them. But isn't that, you know, does it even matter? Is there a line between a hobby, doing something, or buying a toy?
Right.
Now, what I'm saying, you know, if you just want something you're going to put in the water, it goes down and come up. Why don't you just buy one of those little, 27 megahertz bathtub toys? But where, it's not for me to judge anybody, but you know, it just seems that you're telling me that 60% of them out there don't want to know anything about it. They just want a very expensive toy. And not
it's not that they don't want to, it's that they're unwilling to invest the time. That's what the issue is. If you guys really want to get knackered with something, I'll be willing to bet last year alone I was approached 3 times by an individual who wanted to buy a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 submarine for their 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old kid as a toy, as a present. 3 times last year. This, you know, this hobby is so fascinating to me because, and you know, I've said it again, this is a hobby for the elites, and you get some people with maybe more money than sense, and they're like, well, if that's the best, then I want it. Then I don't care what it costs. It's just money, right?
Did you talk them out of it, or did they?
I did, absolutely. I talked them out of it. I'm like, this is not a toy. You know, if you cannot invest the time and energy to understand what it is you're getting and how it works, I don't want to sell it to you, because what I'm doing is I'm selling myself future problems, talking you through what's going to happen later on.
I think that's kind of lucky, because basically they can end up with a piece of $5,000 hardware that's dug up in a few million years by intelligent cockroaches. Because they lose the thing. You know, it's lucky if they get it back.
Did I tell you guys about the Nautilus that I sold? Okay, so this is a 32nd scale Disney Nautilus, Steve Hodges boat, that kit, that CR Nautilus kit. I built it as a fully functional, completed model for a university professor. Built the whole thing. It was a beautiful build, shipped it out, didn't hear anything from it. Like four years later, I got an email from some university kids who said, hey, got some questions. We're building in like an ROV. And, you know, our prof had this sub in his closet, and we thought we were going to use this. I'm like, this sounds so weird. Send me pictures. And I'm like, you are not touching that boat for what you're doing. I hooked them up with everything that they needed, and I took that boat in trade. But he had not, this was a $5,000 boat. He had not unpacked it from when I originally shipped it to him. It was in the original package, still taped shut with the waybills and everything. It sat in a closet for 4 years.
Wow.
I would
That's
love
so
to have that much money.
That's so sad. It's funny.
It went to a good home.
Yes, it did. It did.
I was lucky. Some years ago, I met a submarine modeler, a really good guy, and he teach me so many things. I'm really thankful because you can't pay this somehow. He showed me how to glass. He showed me how he use his lathe. I don't have a lathe, so but everything's also tricks and hints, and so it was really nice. He showed me a little bit how he draw his plans and he CNC mills his stuff. It was really good for me to get again a push somehow, an afterburner to get but the hobby is nice. It's really everyone do the same but in a different way and different thinking. That's really nice because I go this and I'm stuck. Oh, what should I do? I asked Bob maybe. Bob says, look from the other direction. Okay, maybe you do it like this or I try this. This really good. This was a good time.
Yeah, you know what would be interesting, Ed, and actually, well, I mean, everybody here obviously chime in, but you know, we're hoping to fortify, you know, our submarine gatherings, and our plans are absolutely global in nature. For those of you chiming in from overseas, we want to extend our reach, you know, over there. But you know, if we could create a more robust platform or program for these get-togethers, because I think too many times it's just a bunch of people that get together and they run their boats and they have a couple beers at night and they call it a successful run. But the opportunity is so massive. You know, I think it would be cool to try and structure this in a bigger manner. You know, you've got like a big calendar with all the different events, and maybe each event has a different seminar focus, right? So maybe we decide that Carmel is going to be the fiberglassing seminar, and we rent a conference room at the hotel for a couple hours, and we get some subject matter experts in there and we talk about fiberglassing for 2 hours. And the next event, you know, we talk about, you know, electrical theory, you know, radio frequencies and whatever. You know, I'm just throwing ideas out, but it would be cool to look at things rather than so fragmented, a little bit more holistic, and I would hope maybe it would incentivize people to visit other events that aren't just like around the corner. You know, maybe make a trip of it, you know, go for a few days and experience some of these other things going on.
Yeah. When would you make reservations for Carmel? Now? Yes.
Probably a good idea. Yeah, I would think so. I have to do something. I'm not going to be driving up there, obviously, but I'll fly. I'll grab a couple small boats and I'll bring them with me. I'd love to run them. Last time I went up, I had no boats. I was very stand there with my hat in my hand and scuffing my feet kind of thing.
It's a great venue. What you're talking about, they do at Carmel all the time. The problem is so many of us are old veterans. We've seen all that. We're always the same people coming back.
Sure.
There hasn't been a lot of new blood. So, but yes, it's been incorporated and needs to be done more. We've had Don from Loyal Hannah do fiberglassing and all kinds of things.
Maybe we should put that event in the forum, in the events group or thread.
That would be a really good idea.
That would be good.
Yeah, you know, we're looking at oh, there he is. You're all shifting around. You know, Bob and I and other people looking to have more venues, you know, like Bob said, we got to get more and more of these venues. Even the smaller local ones, at least something is happening and they'll build. Because I was just listening to you about the Carmel, you know, at Groton, even after a while, it becomes the same repetitive thing, the same repetitive people. And it was difficult. I mean, at one point, the only draw there was you got to actually tour real submarines, you know, but it was the same thing. So I understand that needing to keep it fresh, rotate it around a little bit, possibly.
And the problem, subcommittees had trouble getting people to want to put on the Subfest and do that. So Carmel's kind of become the default.
So
well, it's the problem when you do the same thing over and over and over again for, you know, a decade, right?
Yeah.
So Ed, would you drive to Salt Lake City?
Well, I'm ordering the trailer. I'm buying a 6x10 trailer to haul the boats. So you talk about getting into this hobby big time. It can be a mobile, call it Subtender. It's going to be a mobile boat carrier and shop all in one. So, and I'll be, and at Cahuta, you can sleep in the damn thing. That's going to be
There
nice.
you go.
Steve gave me that idea. Where you hiding, Steve? Steve gave me that idea.
Those guys were hardcore. That for those of you that don't know, if I remember, they pulled up sleeping bags and they literally slept like under the picnic tables.
I want to get it at 2 a.m. and run my boat. That's my goal.
Well, if there was something in Salt Lake, I'd definitely show up.
Where are you at?
Colorado.
Oh, okay.
When are you going to have something out there?
I mean, that's only a day trip.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a weekend.
Well, yeah, but
I have no idea. I got to get my sub done first.
I got a sister who lives in Salt Lake, so.
Oh, good for you.
Make her happy if I came out to visit.
I was thinking about going to the Salt Flat races.
Oh,
there you go.
In August. When are you going to have anything then?
I don't know. I don't know where you live.
South Carolina.
Okay.
Where speaking of out there, Colorado, Nevada area, where's that area where Tom Chalfant runs, where he has those beautiful pictures, that clear water? It's like a little bay in the Colorado River. That would make a beautiful venue out there.
I'd love to find it.
There's lots of water over there.
Where's Bob? Oh, no. Bob?
Yeah.
I can remember some years ago on the sub fun run here in Germany. There was some guys, young guys, nice submarine, it's diving, yes, you have a camera inside. I say, no, yeah, how to do it? Yes, you have to do like this. And they were shocked. I say, yes, you have to fill, to send, you have to drill, you need a small hobby room. Oh no, forget it. It's too much for me. I want to have a ready one, ready to run. So that's over the hook. There was another guy, he built 2 years on his submarine, a really big one. 2 years? No, no. Have to be finished in some weeks or something like this. I say, okay. They have no passion. This is from passion. Submarine building, everything with submarines is my passion. I have other hobbies also, but never, nothing else dragged me like this. I don't know why, but it is like this. I tried with flying, I tried with tanks, with cars, with, I don't know, but I come always back to submarines. So
we've talked about this before. You know, I'm a strong proponent of the idea of to use the analogy proper or not, of creating a gateway drug. Because I think if we could create, you know, a $700 or $800 RC submarine package that goes together in a week or 2 weeks, more people would buy them. So now all of a sudden we've got this fleet of people with, you know, these entry level submarines tooling around, you know, with at the little sub fun runs. And then they see the 9-foot long sea view, right? Or the 7-foot long Type 7, or the 4-foot long GATO, or whatever it is. And it's a natural evolution for them to progress further. But, you know, they've already got their feet wet. They understand the basics. They know the hull, they got electronics, you got to keep the water out, ballast systems, you know, all of this is starting to resonate in their brain a little bit. But I'm really hoping that they're going to see a little bit of sub envy. And, you know, they're going to want the next step up. And then once you get into that next step up, there's another step beyond there. And the next thing you know, they are invested in the hobby. And to be honest, if they're not, then they figured out that this hobby is not for them, and they didn't have to spend 300 hours and $2,000 to figure that out. So I think it's absolutely worthwhile. I'm working with Matt on an idea to create this sub, you know, $700 or $800 package for customers to help get into the hobby. I feel pretty confident that it's a pretty sound way of going about it. You know, at Subfest, you know, we had, I don't know, maybe what, half a dozen people from around the local area interested, and they thought they were super cool, but it's intimidating to say, oh, it's a $200 or $300 build and you got to spend, you know, $1,500 or $2,000 on it. It'd be different if it's like, man, I'll pluck down $700 and in a week or two I could have a boat. Now all of a sudden their wheels are turning in their brain, right? And they start thinking about it.
I totally agree with that, but there have been a number of kits that were kind of in that price range that came and went. The Subtech Albacore, Marlin, the Roby, remember the U47, and I think they made a Type 21 as well.
Yep.
The Gropner Shark, you know, those were all sub $1,000 models. And I don't know if any of them would be considered a flop or thing, but like the Roby ones, they weren't that long ago. The Roby U47 and Type 21. They weren't terribly expensive, but you never see those around. Very rarely.
It's because kind of from the outset they were toys, right? They did not have ballast systems. They were just kind of a waterproof boat, like a, you know, waterproof ship that could pull itself under the water. I'm thinking like a full-fledged boat. The Thunder Tiger Neptune, holy cow, I would give anything to have access to 10 of those to put on the site right now, because for $600 or $700, whatever they were selling it for, that was so much boat. Oh my Lord. And if I had 10 of them, you know what I'd do? I'd strip that god awful yellow hull off of it, and I'd build a new hull that you could just slap on those internals, and it would be the coolest thing ever.
Doesn't Thunder Tiger still make a sub?
Yeah, but now they're like
$2,000
bucks. Start at like $1,500 or $1,700.
Yeah. Why so much more than the old one? What's different about it?
Because they can get it. They're like, hey, why would I sell you know, 50 at 800 when I could sell 30 at 1,200? I guess, I don't know.
The old Subtech Albacore actually sounds like it meets every one of the things you're talking about. I think you should talk to David and see if you can put it back in production somehow.
The hulls honestly are not the problem. It's not the hulls, it's the internals. You know, we need to have a full-fledged static diving boat that you know, people could get their feet wet with. You know, hulls with especially with 3D printing, like you could, if we did this properly, you could have this core engineering module that you could literally bolt any number of hulls onto. So if you're like a World War II guy, you know, maybe there's like a rudimentary, you know, fleet boat style hull that you could bolt on, or sci-fi, you know, some sort of cool sci-fi hull, or a modern nuclear-ish looking hull.
You know, Bob, you actually have a tougher job than you think. The Albacore, what, was $700, right?
I think so.
About $19.99 is equivalent to $1,200 today. For you to get a boat, you know, in the the range of that would be about $440 today. You'd have to sell that to be at the same, you know, relatively the same in pricing for the electronics and whatnot. So I know $700 sounds like a good number, though. You know, it sounds like a good number, $600-700.
It feels like a magic number to me. And
Yeah.
to be honest, you know, again, as somebody who has a lot of visibility and I deal with people from all over the world, so many are like, what's the best beginner boat? What's the best beginner boat? And these are the customers I like because they didn't just buy something. They're reaching out to say, I want to get into this hobby, but I want to do it properly. So tell me what I need to do to breach this, you know, without, you know, depth charging my own efforts here. So if we had an offering, it's like, okay, this is the answer right here. Here's the product page. You've got 3 options, you know, A, B, C, pick whichever one turns your crank. And, you know, we got a series of videos, not only from me, but from a bunch of other people on putting it together and modifying it and making it super cool and, you know, all of this stuff. And
you say that the Type 7 is probably the most popular boat.
Yeah.
Is it the Type 7? Like everybody would, I mean, but that's kind of a difficult boat for the first off because it's very detailed.
There's, you know, there's quirks to it. You know, it's got some operational quirks, and obviously it's like triple the amount of work to put together in terms of details and, you know, all of the rigging. And
what about something like Standoff Scale, like more along a skipjack or a permit? Would that be, you know, you're almost thinking the old Dumas, just something, you're talking about a beginner kit. So
yeah,
it wouldn't have to be 100% scale, but if you could throw something together that looks really submarine-ish and could be developed, would that be an avenue to go?
Yep. I think, you know, that idea of a core engineering module with option A, B, or C for hulls, depending on whatever turns your crank, I think that's the way to go.
Bob?
Yeah.
Hi, it's John.
Yeah.
Can you look at my module? Remember I said that it took so long for the module to surface? I sent you an email.
Yeah.
Like a minute and a half.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah. Well, I've got the module here. I don't know whether you can see it or not, but I've got the pump here, which is the only place I can put it.
Yeah.
And there's no kinks or anything. It's got a wide thing, but I checked the airlines. The nipple is a 16th inch ID, and I'm using airlines for my airplane. It's 8th inch OD, 16th ID. There's no restrictions, and I don't know what's going on. I've got the same stuff everybody else has, but mine doesn't work. Right.
Well, I mean, it's possible, I suppose, that, you know, the pump itself could be faulty, you know, and in that case, obviously we can hook you up with a, you know, a new pump that would be really quick to swap out.
I mean, it's definitely pumping, and I mean, I even put it, I filled the cylinder up and I put it underwater, held it underwater and turned the pump on to see if there was any kind of leaks or anything, which there weren't. And I can definitely feel suction, you know, when I hold the suction line. And like I said, when I put it on the boat, if I put it down to like the deck level, which is what, an inch and a half, it won't come up at all. It just sits there.
What?
Yeah.
What boat?
Arc model. Type 7.
So it's the 250, 300, 250 MSD. You got a 2.5 inch forward, or no, the aft ballast tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got the old school 2.5 inch GATO cylinder. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's 2.5 inch diameter.
Yep.
That's a lot of tank for a small volume in your cylinder. The GATO has a hard time coming up. Because there isn't enough air inside the cylinder to fill your ballast tank.
Well, it's not. It doesn't have to. The idea, depending on how you have it set up. So let's review. So you've got two different configurations for the Dave Merriman style of subdriver. You've got snort, which is what I recommend everybody run. That is a low pressure pump. And so the boat is always slightly positively buoyant. So you got maybe a 3/4 of an inch of tower sticking out of the top of the water in fully vented ballast tank status. So you just a little bit of forward throttle, little bit of forward planes, and down it goes. Something goes wrong, hands off the transmitter, up she comes all on her own. Some people want to have the bells and whistles and want to be able to stop and submerge all the way down to the bottom. I think it's silly and unsafe, but whatever turns your crank. And that's where the SAS, semi-aspirated system, comes into play. And that's where you've got the float and the valve and all of that stuff. So the idea is when the boat is fully underwater, the valve is closed,
right,
and air pump draws air from the sealed electronic and battery compartment and blows it into the ballast tank. All it needs to do is blow in 1 or 2 ounces worth of air to make that model slightly positively buoyant. That's all it takes, just a little bit. All the way up, the snorkel breaches surface, opens the valve, and then the low pressure pump draws air from the surface and completes that blow cycle for the tank. The issue that John is having, it sounds like, is that the volume of air that pump is pushing out is either super slow or non-existent, which feels very weird to me. So John, have you tried maybe take the output line from the pump and like in your bathtub, I don't know what you got for a test tank, but like fill that bottle up with like a Coke bottle or a drink bottle, clear, fill it up with water, turn it upside down with the mouth under the surface of the water, put that air hose, the discharge hose in the bottom, and turn the air pump on. And it should, in theory, evacuate that water bottle, I'm thinking 30 seconds. It should blow enough air into that water bottle to fully push all that water out within about 30 to 40 seconds. If not, it's probably an issue with the pump itself, and it's a super easy fix. They'll just send you a new pump, you put the new pump in, and away you go.
You mean like a regular water bottle type of thing?
Yeah, just a water bottle. So just something that you can see if it's full or if it's empty and at what rate it's emptying.
Should I leave an air pocket at the top of the?
No, it doesn't matter. So if you're using the bathtub, stick the water bottle underneath the water, get it completely filled with water, tilt it upside down, and then lift it out of the water, but keep the mouth under the surface. So the bottle's full, and you can see what's going on.
Okay.
Put that air hose in the bottom, kick it on, and watch that water level drop.
I'll give it a shot. Okay.
Because if the water bottle works, then it's got to be something in the plumbing of your cylinder, which we can attack later.
Yeah, but like I said, I just wanted to make sure, because the restriction is the nipple going through the end caps. And I thought maybe with my airline that I'm having pressure, but not enough volume. But I measured the inside diameter of that little brass nipple, and it's a 16th inch, which is the same as my airline. Yep. So, I mean, I know that that's all right. And then I got 2 Robart quick disconnects, but that's a 16th pass through too. That's no big deal.
Yep. And, I use those all the time. Yep.
Yeah. You know where they come from, don't you? Hospitals.
Oh, there you go.
Disconnecting bags. Yeah. But all right, I'll give it a shot. I just wanted to say one other quick thing. It's a small world, you've heard. In 2002, I got my turbine waiver. And I got my first turbine in 2002 from a fellow in Pennsylvania. And Great Northern Models in Canada was the importer of it. And I had a problem with the BLM, I think it was. So I emailed Kevin, and he remembered me. He said,
wow.
Yeah, and that was, 20 years ago. He says, does Simjet 2300 mean anything to you? And I said, it sure does.
Wow.
So, like I said, he was an importer of turbines from, I think it was Denmark, is where Simjets were made. So, like I said, it's a small world, but
It is a small world.
yeah. All right, well, I'll definitely give that a shot and see what we can get out of it.
Awesome.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. This is what DiveTribe is for, is figuring stuff out like this. So we'll make it happen.
Yeah. It just gets frustrating after a while,
Well, it does. And the big thing is to, when you start getting frustrated, just stop, take a step back, and don't feel at all hesitant about reaching out to, myself or any other one of the, the DiveTribe members for advice.
I don't want to keep bugging you. I've sent you 1,000 emails and I'm sure you're sick of seeing them.
It's fine. I keep a tally. Every time someone sends me an email, it's 25 cents. So, I've got a big ledger. I'll call them in eventually.
Charge it to me on account. Account, I don't have any money. All right,
you guys are free to keep going. I'm at my hour mark. I got to get back to my family on a Saturday afternoon, but feel free to keep chit-chatting, and it'll continue to record. Ed, are you going to hang around? Can I give you control?
Are we still on at 5 for the other thing?
That's next week. Or next time. Yep.
Okay.
Not next week, next time.
Next week, next time. Okay. Yeah, I'll hang out for a little bit. I
All
can
right.
turn it over to somebody else if I go.
Hey, Bob,
All right.
before you go,
Yeah.
Bob, before you go, did you work numbers for that sub by any chance? I didn't check my email yet.
Yeah, it's in your inbox.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, I got the quote from, and this goes back to that whole supplier thing. So I got a full explanation and all the pricing and everything. So check it out.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you bet. All right, guys, have an awesome Saturday, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks, Bob.
Have a good one.
See you, Bob.
Take care.
Well, I gotta go too. Talk to you guys later.
Oh crap, Matt shows up now.
He's on Matt local time.
He Matt local time. Oh, Matt, are you guys behind us in daylight savings time, or are you ahead of us? We've been here for an hour already.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's 8 o'clock.
Good morning, Matthew.
Yeah. We changed clocks last week. I think you guys.
Oh,
are 2
right.
weeks.
Okay. Yeah,
We
we
do it
haven't.
today.
Oh,
It's
dear.
night.
Can I ask, has Tim made it on as well?
No, Tim hasn't shown up yet.
Maybe he's on the other time zone too.
Well, yeah, because we live about 200 miles from each other.
Yeah, they're 2 weeks behind us in daylight
Yeah.
savings time. They switch your clocks, I think, next week.
Yeah, it's next week. Yeah. Oh, well, hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Remember, spring forward, fall back.
That's right.
Hey, Matt,
Well,
I wanted to show you something. I was
Uh-oh.
waiting for it. How do you like
See,
this?
Where are you?
Nothing's working. Oh, here we go.
Frank, you as I. Oh,
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
Wow.
That is cool.
do you know, Frank, there are some times that people like you get shot at an early age,
Yeah.
and you're in the wrong country for that.
Well, we're taking bets for dates when he's going to have in the water. I have 2057, April 3rd.
Yeah. Fair
Well, you're working on your WTC, Ed, right?
Yeah,
I'm just
I'm
about
done.
done with mine. It's going in the boat. I have a few more connections to make, and she's seaworthy.
Mine's already tested and in the boat. And I started
shut
it
up.
2 weeks ago.
Shut up. And I hate using that expression.
Oh, dear.
But my philosophy is, if it works on the real sub or on the fantasy sub, it's got to work on my sub. So
Like
was
non-existent bow planes.
There's, Yeah, the levels, guys. Modeler's license does, I suppose, count. Not to go too far. More things to go wrong, or is that just sharp, man?
That thing kissed went out the window.
Yeah, fair one.
The more you complicate the plumbing, the easier it is to stop up the drain. One
Does
drain
that,
here to
that look
another.
like Kiss?
No,
that's
it doesn't. That looks like Spaghetti Junction.
stop.
It does look like Spaghetti Junction.
Well,
Yeah.
so now you've got the 4-window sea view. Where's the flying sub?
You're really going to ask me that, aren't you?
I am. Hey, you got to get your genre. Oh, there you go. Look,
You do know you can buy a big one from Mount Fleet, don't you?
Really?
Yeah, Mount Fleet do the flying fish, radio controlled.
Well, I want the flying sub to fly.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, put a drone in it. Put a drone in it.
Who makes that, Matt?
Mount Fleet.
Mount Fleet.
How big is it?
Roughly.
Don't ask that question.
Yeah,
What was the-
it's a fish. I went fishing. It was this big.
What was the flying sub in Cahutta? Somebody had one there.
That was Eric. Eric Von Kloss.
And what
Eric
was
had it.
it made from? What was his made from?
I think that was just the plastic. He either had the plastic model or it might have been a Teskey, a Rick Teskey hull.
Because it was pretty big for being a Mobius.
Then it was a Teskey hull. That's the one I knew of.
Yeah. I've still got the Aurora kit from when I was a kid downstairs in the basement that I built, 60 years ago, 50 years ago, 55 years ago.
Nice. Gunter, I've looked at your Dropbox stuff. Nice, mate. Yeah.
I will keep going for your shipment. I need
Roger.
some more time.
Okay, no dramas. No dramas. Plenty of time. No rush.
But nice, huh? Nice, huh, Matthew?
Yeah. Yeah, just a bit. Yeah.
Did you get off of lockdown, Matt?
Not yet. To 14th of April. 12th of April.
We're supposedly the 10th of April in Utah to take off our masks.
Yeah. Oh, we won't be taking our masks off till June.
No kidding.
It may even be later. I mean, they've stopped transport now. You're not allowed to go on holiday for the whole of this year. They've stopped it. So another boring year of twiddling my thumbs and trying to get stock in. I mean, I've been waiting. I've got a customer who's asking for batteries, and I've been waiting since January, and they still ain't here. I am getting bored of the shipping of this COVID. It's driving me nuts.
There's a guy in Washington State restoring a 1910 gaff cutter. Yeah, there is not much wood he hasn't replaced, but his girlfriend's been gone in the UK all of this year. She can't get back out to Washington.
She won't get back out either because they're not letting her. If it's not for work, you're not allowed to travel.
Yeah,
it's pants. I'm hoping that it starts getting better. I mean, I had a show booked for May. That ain't happening. That's been canned. So,
well, look at all the money you've been saving, though. So when it opens up, you can be in Georgia in September.
You're having a laugh. I haven't saved any money. You're having a laugh. I've spent loads of it, and it just hasn't turned up.
You're right. I was having a laugh. I know.
Incidentally, Ed, I'm hoping to get yours and Maurice's stuff shipped next week. Yeah. So I've got the bottom's just got to come out the mold, but the top's looking really smart. It's come out really light as well, so I'm really chuffed.
You're lucky it doesn't have to go through the Suez Canal.
Shots fired.
I'm just hoping nobody picks it up with another forklift, right?
Oh, don't. I know. Do you know what? put me back 2 weeks. 2 weeks that's put me back. But lucky enough, go on, go for it, Ed.
I'm really looking forward to that boat. She is. I never thought I would use this term on a submarine, but the Vanguard is a handsome boat. It really is. It's got class. It's got class. It's got presence, and it's got class.
Well, your top came out the mold yesterday. Do you want to see your top before it's been cleaned up?
Oh yeah, sure.
Right, give me a
Yeah,
second.
we all want to see it, right? Everybody show of hands. Yeah, let's see the top. I always want to see her top. Bring it.
No,
oh yeah, we're being recorded. No.
Sometimes you don't want to see that, Ed.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
just
Like that cartoon lady from Playboy, the old granny.
yeah.
I just said it
that's
only
the one.
came out the mold yesterday, so I ain't trimmed it yet. But there you go.
Oh,
Look at that.
Look at the detail.
There you go. There's the back.
Oh my.
Ow, ow, ow. Bloody fiberglass.
This is a Vanguard.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
Vanguard.
look at that.
Wow.
Look at that.
Yeah, that came out the mold yesterday, and it weighs hardly anything.
I cannot wait.
You're gonna love it, Ed. You're gonna love it.
That's gonna be
Thank you.
an impressive boat in Queens.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be sick.
A Vanguard running in New York City is gonna be real cool.
Oh yeah, and you'll call it Vengeance, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That name, it's class.
Yeah. It's a nice boat. I must admit, it's my favourite at the moment, but I'm sure the Astute's going to take over when I finish the Astute, because that's big. That's really fat.
What kind of fiberglass clothes you use to glass the house?
Hang on, let me stand up.
Yes.
I mean, I haven't come out of it today. To be fair, I've been doing a
No,
lot of
not
WTCs.
this. I mean the fiberglass clothes that you use put in the molds.
What you on about, the weave or the resin?
No, there are different kind of mats you can use.
Yeah,
So,
I'm using.
yes, these ones.
Yeah.
And the cheap ones. That looks like Chinese noodles. You know.
Yeah, I'm just using standard fiberglass because I've got tons of it.
Which kind?
Hang on, I'll go and get you a sample, shall I?
Yes, sir.
Man, I advise people who want to have delicate things like guns and periscopes and conning towers to buy a freaking resin printer, because my God, they work so good.
Okay.
And don't run with surface guys.
This is the kind of stuff. Is the name I forgot in English.
It's yeah, we call this standard.
Yeah.
You then got chop roving, which looks like a lattice work. And then there's
biaxial.
Yeah, and also you've got what's the name of body armor? Oh, flip.
Oh, carbon fiber.
No, not carbon fiber.
Kevlar.
Kevlar, yeah. And you spend £180 for a roll that's this wide. No, we're not having submarines made of Kevlar. I can't see that, man. That looks like plastic to me.
Oh. Very nice. That's the
right.
collar.
Yeah, the bayonet.
Yeah, I've got one on my.
This is a different kind of this. This make
Yeah.
like
So what
this.
you've got, right. So is that like a lattice work? So it looks something like that.
Yeah. Right. You are
So
right,
that's called wavy roving, right?
Roving. Yes, roving. Yes.
Wavy woven, right?
Yes.
Now, the problem with wavy woven on its own is not very strong. Okay. You have to have a sandwich of this
Yes.
and a wavy woven. If you don't, you have it start to do all sorts of weird, wonderful things, and it will start warping and do lovely things. People
Okay.
use it on aeroplanes because it's lightweight.
No way of moving.
Yeah, but you've got it. Don't forget, that's in a cylinder, right? So that's round.
Ah,
If you cut that down the middle, so you had a top and a bottom, I can tell you this now, it will go.
Okay, and your stuff, your standard is much stronger.
Yeah, but I also do other things. So I also use surface tissue, and I also make a fiberglass putty, and that putty goes round. Hang on. Chop. Right. So you obviously I haven't cut this yet, and I've just got it in my finger. You've got an edge round there, yeah? A nice lip. That butts your two submarines. Inside there is a putty fiberglass mix. So I actually force that putty up inside there, and then I lay the glass over the top of the putty and force it in more, so you get a really strong edge. So this whole section along the whole boat is reinforced, and that stops it from moving.
That is the gel coat in the
yeah, you've got the gel coat on the top. Now, don't forget the gel coat's got no strength to it whatsoever. All it is there is to make it look pretty. All right. It's the stuff inside. So there's in this is one layer of glass, one layer of surface tissue, and the putty. Now the putty is what gives you the strength, and that's mixed with concrete and fiberglass. And the stuff's called the actual stuff's called phyllite.
Concrete submarine. Yay.
Yeah. And do you know what? The powder. I'll go and get the powder, and you'll see what I mean. It's brilliant stuff. And I mix it in with chopped strands.
I bet. Tough. It sounds like it's mighty tough stuff.
Now there is waterproof concrete. My brother, the plumber, used to use it. A stuff called Damn It, and you can mix it up, and it's very effective and completely waterproof, very light. I don't know where you could find it now, but if you're talking about using concrete in the mold, that would be the way to go, I would think.
Somebody in ancient times learned how to make that, and I want to think it was the Romans or something like that. I've heard of that.
Well, they used to make sailboats out of concrete and iron, like ferro cement.
I've seen ferrous cement. I sailed on a ferrous cement boat, sailboat.
But there you go.
It's kind of weird.
That's the phyllite. It's mixed with fiberglass, and it's concrete dust. It's absolutely brilliant stuff, and I'm getting it everywhere. That's also how I do my dive planes, my conning towers, everything else, all mixed in with this stuff because it reinforces it big time. Wow. And I can make it really lightweight. So that's my trick. I've kind of just told you a trade secret.
Trade secret.
Whoops.
Yeah, they may know the ingredients, but you need to know the right ratio.
Oh yeah, I must admit, if you do it, you put too much of that stuff on it, it turns like it's like a gloopy putty that you pick it up, and as you if you break it, if you had gloves on, you squeeze it together, it just disintegrates, and you end up with like a floury, sticky mess. It's not good, but yeah, there's that and some other bits, and that goes in. That's why if you've got a light and you shine it inside this in one of my submarines, you'll see it glisten. And it's generally, you can see the phyllite dust inside the resin. So there you go. Something different. But no, I'm quite chuffed with them. At least that was cured the warping issue, and it also was able to get the weight down. I mean, it's like with the towers. I mean, the towers are really lightweight. I think I've got one here. It's this one. It's a Trafalgar. There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's strong as, and it weighs nothing. I think you've got one, haven't you, Ed?
My son has one. Yeah.
Your son has.
Yeah, he won the raffle. Yeah.
Let's come back to the Subtech, the Marlin kit. I heard they come back as a glass fiber hull, right? They remastered everything.
Who?
The Subtech Marlin.
Right.
they remastered everything to glass fiber hull, I heard. But they dropped the project, I think.
That sucks. I hear Engel's back.
I ordered by Engel this motor and small spare parts. I called him. He has massive problems to get his own stuff from the supplier.
Oh, right. Well,
Yes.
that's good news. At least he hasn't disappeared off the face of the earth.
Okay.
Yeah, as I said, at least he hasn't gone. That's good news.
No. He's still in business, but if he has nothing to sell, he can't sell anything. So that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he's paying on that
He
one.
just got in this motor. Just.
Nice.
Yeah, delivered in 2 days. So.
There you go. Can't argue with that, can you?
Yeah, fits in. I have to see.
Oh, incidentally, I kind of started messing around with something that isn't a submarine. I think I deserve to be shot. Hang on, let me. It's an upside down duck.
That's a duck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's WK.
Yeah.
Why is it upside down, Matt?
Been sorting out the drivetrain on it.
I see.
So
very cute.
yeah.
What scale?
What's wrong with that?
It's 1/8. I found it in a barn.
Really?
It goes in the water, but it never drove. So I spent about 350 quid on a new drivetrain and started putting it in. Not the most easiest thing to do, especially when you've never touched a radio control car in your life. Yeah.
Did those motor on the tires, or did they have propellers in the back?
They got props, and it's hang on, I'll show you. It's pretty much is. So you got your prop. Bye super glue. You get your prop.
Yeah.
The rudder, and then obviously this is the six wheel drive I'm putting in.
Wow.
Just starting to put all this together, just 3D printing, because this is the old stuff here. Originally, it was just you pushed it along. It didn't have any motors to the wheels at all, and I didn't like that, so I wanted to put a drivetrain in it. The motor that's actually driving the propeller is anyone recognize one of these?
Mm-mm.
An old, very old motor, but it's really smooth, so I'm going to stick with it. But yeah, it's my evening project, one of many. I've got 3 on the go at the moment. I've got the upholder, the Type 9, and I thought I'll do something different. I'll have a go with that. But yeah, keeps you quiet. When it hits 5 o'clock, that's it. Tools down, and then next tools are up on something else.
Who made the
other bench?
Say again?
Who made the duck? Was it a kit that somebody made, or was it scratch built?
Oh, no, it's totally scratch built. So the driver is Spock, and it's got armored plating everywhere. The whole thing's been wrapped in metal. Wow. It's been made out of wood and then wrapped in metal. I mean, it's even got armored plating on the seats. It's absolutely insane, the detail that somebody went to it. And it is about 40, 50 years old. It had one of those old-fashioned, so not speed controller, but where you had the wires and your servo pushed it to go forward and back.
A resistor, a rheostat, like a resistor.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, it even had like old-fashioned fuses. It looked like you could put it in an old-fashioned radio. And it was all 27 meg. It was absolutely, when I got it, I was amazed, and I just started ripping all the electrics out. I was like, yeah, not having that. I could put it in a museum. But yeah, I just found this in a barn. It was one of the things I got back. So it was like the Castle class behind me, that came from the barn. That and a Type 21. I also got a very old OTW Type 7, which had a dry hull in it and a ballast tank, which was a fiberglass tank that sat in the bottom of the hull. So not even a WTC. It's a very early OTW. That's gone as well. That got ripped out. But yeah, I don't know. Just haven't really had much or was it in the evening? There's not much to do apart from listen to Lauren moaning on me. So I thought I'd come in here. Yeah.
Was this somebody that contacted you and said, hey, you like model boats? We got some old things to sell.
Right. So what happened was we were at a model boat show in a place called Buell Park. The guy who owned Buell Park had a model boat and model aeroplane fetish. There were over 10,000 model boats and 20,000 aeroplanes. He passed away, and I knew him. I actually knew him in real life before he passed, sorry, because I did a couple of charity events there. And his wife came up to us while we were at the show and said, look, I'm opening the barn. Whatever you want, take it.
Wow.
I could have. Do you remember the TV series? I don't know if you guys have seen it, of HMS Fearless with Mark Farron. It 148th scale HMS Fearless. Big thing. It was done in the early 2000s. If you haven't seen it, have a look on YouTube. But that was sitting on the floor of the barn.
Wow.
Yeah, that was sitting on the floor. I mean, there were some spectacular warships just sitting there and just covered in rat poo and dust and God knows what else. I mean, I took as much as I could. My mates, we found a load of old shearline models just laying there that were actually Eden, not shearline. So we managed to get them back and restore them, and they're now happy with club members that have had them restored. It was in 2019, May 2019. It was quite a weird couple of months. So that happened, and I came back with loads of boats. And then literally a week after I got home from Buell Park, I got offered this business. So it was one of those years that just everything just seemed to happen. Now it's like I'm stuck with all of it. But
I've been involved in a number of those deals where there's somebody passed away and you get invited to come in and sort through their stuff and usually buy things really cheap or sometimes free. And what always occurs to me when I'm doing that is this is going to be me one day. Somebody else is going to be pilfering through my stuff, and my family won't be valuable, and what goes with what, and I guess just the nature of.
I'm very lucky there because my son is getting all the subs. Bob Martin ain't getting them. Little Ed is getting all the subs. He already knows, and we got plans for it. He's getting everything, and hopefully my great grandson, it'll just stay in the family. That's my goal.
But I mean, Jason, I know what you mean. I mean, I've got 3 containers full of model boats and submarines. I am 32. What the hell is going to happen when I'm 50 or 60? How many will I actually have? I've been building radio controlled models since I was 18 years old. Submarines, mostly for the last 9 years, give or take. And now I own the business, and I've got submarines literally I can have and go, I'll make one of them. It's really bad. I now have 4 of everything. I have 4 Vanguards. I have 4 Trafalgars. The coolers, I've got about 6 of them because I got bored and just started making them.
Do you find that having so many gets it harder to finish anything because you're so easily distracted by something else?
Yeah, that's why I've got about 6 projects on the go. I generally do like 2 days on one project, 2 days on another project, and I'll bounce. I mean, whoever's spoken to me on FaceTime at any time, you'll know I'm either working on Upholder or I'm working on my Type 9. Or I mean, today it was like, why not mess around with the duck? Yeah. And it's just generally, I've been doing this stuff, and obviously I really noticeable now. Since I've taken on Beck's Model Marine, some of the fun has been coming out of the modeling and doing lots of other little bits. Is just trying to bring that out of the business head of it and trying to get back into doing some of my own hobbies. And I've just got too much. I mean, I've got warships, I've got submarines, I've got boats. I mean, I nearly bought a hovercraft the other day. And that's just not good.
Here's
mean,
my
what-
Suffering
retirement.
from.
Wow, look at that lot. That's a shop, right? That's
No,
your,
that's
a
my
shop.
that's my model room.
That's
That's called OBE, and that's not Order of the British Empire. It's Overcome by Events.
Is that what it is? Overcome by events. All right, okay.
now, you know what I find kind of fascinating too. My boats, they're 25, 30 years old and they're still operational. You know,
Yeah.
maintenance. The fiberglass boat will last. You're talking about generations. You know, it's funny because joking before, but I'm not kidding. You know, Bob Martin seems to be the black hole of boat collecting because he has a Type 21, which he somehow got a hold of, was Bud Lederer's boat that ran in the early 90s, that I was a judge at a sub regatta that gave him first, and then it disappears, and suddenly Bob Martin has this thing. And it's just incredible that it doesn't happen. I don't know about you guys who fly, but do airplanes have this type of longevity? 25, 30 years?
I thought airplanes generally come with a bin bag.
I had that boat from Bud Lederer and traded it to Bob for some work that he's doing.
Yeah, okay. That's out. That's the story behind that, Warren?
Yeah. Bud Lederer was in Jacksonville, and he, myself, and about 4 others ran subs, and then it just sort of dissolved around. And I bought that boat from Bud because he wasn't ever going to do anything with it. The years were catching up with him. Well, they're catching up with me too. And I finally realized that I wasn't ever going to get to work on it. So I traded that and a OTW Type 6 or whatever his newest one, that British boat. I traded that for some work that he's doing on 2 other boats of mine because I'm running out of time and I just simply wanted to get back into it. And I've got a 32nd Type 7 and I'll keep trying to get back going. It's got an old Merriman WTC in that. And so that's the history on that. Also, Bud Lederer, as long as I've got the microphone, kept offering me his 10-foot GATO when I finished with that Type 21. But naturally, I never got to it. So that's the story there.
I've just been offered a 12-foot mold for a GATO.
Wow.
Did anyone see that post I put on Facebook the other day with the 12-foot long GATO? John Robinson. Very nice man, very, very intelligent. And my God, when it comes to electronics, he terrifies me. But yeah, he started to work with Tim with some of his stuff. But yeah, I got offered those molds. And God, was I tempted? But how the hell would I sell a 12-foot long GATO? Who the hell would buy one? I mean, I've got a 9-foot LA that nobody wants. Yeah, but we need more GATOs, and it's good to hear that Bob's looking at one.
Ed, are you going to be around tomorrow? I got some things I want to talk to you about, so I'm going
Yeah,
to
it's raining here, and I got a whole day planned out down in the shop. It's going to rain here tomorrow.
Okay, I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. You guys have a great day.
Bye.
You too. Have a good one.
You too, Matt.
That big Type 21 that we were talking about, is that the great big one that Bob shows in some of his videos? It's really large scale.
132nd scale, isn't it? Or was it 135th?
Yeah, it could have been. It was pretty long. I don't
Yeah, it
remember.
Must be
It's
something
got the
like
yellow
130.
stripe on the conning tower.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
that was a school boat.
Yes, schooling boat. Yes. To train the.
Oh, the training vessel? It's a train. That's what the
Well,
yellow
it's a training
stripe.
boat.
Yeah, yellow stripe
Training boat.
training vessel.
Well, I think that was post-war. That wasn't that the Wilhelm Bauer that they used in the 50s after World War II.
No.
No,
No.
I think so. Pretty sure one of the
yellow,
type,
you mean the yellow strip on the conning tower?
the yellow stripe was post-war.
No, it was a schooling boat in the Second World War.
Okay, not so. You know, one of the Type 21s was renamed Wilhelm Bauer.
Yes, it was. No, that was not a military submarine. It was a private for testing some sonar systems and other things.
Didn't it have the yellow stripe?
I have to see in my files. 1 second, sir. I have to see submarines.
If anyone's going to know, it's that man there. I must admit, this man, Gunter, is full of more information about submarines. I wouldn't ever argue with him about submarines. This man knows it all, especially German ones.
Well, I want to know a little bit about the history of the homing torpedoes. They came up with the first real home, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, because they used oh fuck me, they listened to prop noise, didn't they? And they went homed onto the propellers.
I know. I was surprised that they actually had homing torpedoes during World War II or late war.
It was late. I mean, well, did you know that one of the first submarines to get rubber tiles put on was a German U-boat? And was it? I think it might have been a Type 9. Don't hold me to that, but I think it was.
Isn't?
Yes.
It was a red stripe, not a yellow.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yellow stripe was a training boat during
the Second World War. And Matthew, with the rubber on the surface of the submarine, it was a Type 2.
Okay.
Type 2 and a Type 7, but I forgot the numbers of the U.
I know it was very late in the war, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's called Alberisch Belag.
Right.
It was a special kind of rubber with holes inside
to
absorb the ASTIC signal.
That's
and
it.
don't reflect them.
Yeah, because they just found it recently, haven't they? Down in the channel somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it was a myth for a while, and then they found the actual submarine and found the rubber tiles still attached to it. Right. Now, where have I done with that? Nope. But I really did come late into the game, didn't I? I'm sorry, guys. So is that going to be the same for next week as well? You're going to be at 7 o'clock?
In 2 weeks, I think is the next one. Every 2 weeks. Of
course it is. Yeah, it's 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, every other week.
Yeah,
I got it on my calendar, so.
Do you know what? I run it by the fact that, so obviously we've gone back to the Navy now, so we're back on Zoom. So the week in between is my actual duty night. The week that isn't Thursday, so then obviously it's DiveTribe. To be quite frank, some days I keep forgetting that it's Saturday or it's Friday. It's like, I just don't know what day of the week it is.
I'm coming up on a year work from home. I mean, I've been feeling my hemorrhoids grow for a year just sitting here. But honestly, all kidding aside, it's like, I don't know how I'm going to say you folks, but how people do it when they retire. It just seems like all the days blend into one day.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it just seems like boom, and suddenly it's like, oh, it's New Year's, and now it's March. It's the end of March already. Everything seems to blend.
I know what you mean. I'm not looking forward to this retirement life, and I'm not nowhere near it yet. If it's just sitting on my ass doing fuck all day or just watching the world go past, no, I'm not interested in that.
Matt, I'm retired 2.5 years now, and the days go by so fast. I wonder how I did anything when I was working.
Yeah, I've been retired 14 years. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I hear
you wonder what you did before. You still don't have enough time to get your work done.
It's amazing. Just amazing.
As I said, my old man says the same. He says since he's been retired, he's been more busy since he's been retired, since he was working.
Yep.
I save 2 hours a day during the week in commuting alone, much less the gas, saving on the gas. But it's like you guys said, it seems like those 2 hours are sucked into a black hole. I don't feel like I've gained 2 hours.
Nope. Do you feel though that March last year was last week?
Yep.
It was
quick. I mean, just doing nothing, sitting at home, not going out anywhere, not seeing it. I haven't seen my parents since November. And I'm going to see them for the first time since November on Monday. And it's nuts, really. And it just feels like a whole year. It was just we're going to call this the blip, shall we? But we're not out of the woods yet. Nowhere near.
No.
I get my second.
Today on the news, they said that 13 states in the United States, the numbers are starting to go up again.
Wow.
What a lot of people don't know in the United States is what's that company? Not the company. In the U.S., it's OSHA that covers workmen's injuries and some. They're going to announce, I believe it's next week, that everyone that works in the U.S. is going to be required at work to wear a mask.
Yeah,
Good.
I don't think it's going to change. I mean, I think it's going to be worldwide wearing masks. I mean, lucky enough, though, the vaccinations in the UK are starting to really ramp up now.
Yeah.
I'm expected to get mine in either late June, July time, get my first vaccination, which is good.
I had mine on Thursday, number 1.
Yeah,
The arm still feels like somebody punched
I get my second cootie shot Monday, and I'm done with it.
Yeah. I've had 2 already.
You've had.
Yeah,
I hear the second one is worse.
No, I had nothing. No pain in my arm, nothing.
Yeah, my uncle's had both of them, and he had no real symptoms at all. He had a bit of a drowsiness one night, but that was about it.
Beth had drowsiness and she had a rash. Me, it just felt like somebody punched me. I felt nothing all day. I go to sleep and suddenly it feels like somebody punched me in the arm.
Listen, to me, it's going to be another jab. Do you know how many jabs the Navy is stuck in my arm or in my backside? I think the last one I had was yellow fever, and that hurt.
Yeah.
But when I got now the booster on that, the one you get in 3 months, that does hurt.
I remember.
Hey, at least they're not using air guns where they cut your arm open.
Yeah, I remember those puppies.
No, our nurses use our backsides as bloody dart tables. She just sits there and goes, "That's it, you've got it."
I remember as part of when, because I went in on a sub fare program. I was guaranteed sub duty. I didn't volunteer when I was there. And I realized that part of it was an injection because I went over to the UK because we were going out of Holy Lock. And one vaccination was the Black Plague. And I'm like, where the fuck are you sending me?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
We were, I was given, it's in my paperwork, Black Plague.
Wow, I don't think I've had that one. I didn't think that existed. But
Black Plague.
Okay.
So you got that going for you.
Yeah. There you go. I thought I had an itch, But was it? My vaccination list is huge, and that was just that was purely to pull people out to sea. When I was doing the old migrancies, that was what I got. Everything shoved in my arm. It's, as I said, I'm now teaching. I'm not doing any more deployments for a while. Blow it. I'm quite happy with that. So
hey Ed, you're from New York area, right?
Yeah.
Is there a large sub community there?
Well, 3 of them are here tonight. If Frank and myself and Ray Mason.
Oh.
Ray is out of the screen right now. Yeah, but we're the local subcommittee, Long Island. Yeah, Ray just waved.
So where is Maurice then? Because I know he's New York way, isn't he?
I'm not sure where Maury is. Maybe he's never reached out. Hey, are you guys running somewhere? You know,
Okay.
we basically cover the tri-state area, Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut.
Don't ask
Yeah.
Maury for his email address. Make sure your phone is fully charged.
Can I just state, right? I have to give him his due. He's an amazing bloke. So I helped him out before Christmas, yeah? I got a thank you letter on some really high class printed stuff. And I've said thank you. He's brilliant, obviously.
That's
and I
sweet.
got an awesome Christmas card. And I just wasn't expecting it. It was just absolutely.
That's nice. That's nice.
Wow. I mean, I've got his WTC. That's got to be shipped out with yours. That's all done now. So he'll be happy. It's just everything's been a bit slow this month. But
Dave, is that a Christmas tree in the background there?
Yeah, I'm in the basement.
Oh.
Yeah, you do realise it's past the 12th day.
That's where we store it. It's stored right there.
Oh,
how's your luck been?
What me?
Oh, right. Do you not believe that after the 12th day you got to take your Christmas decorations down?
Oh, it is down. It's just that it comes in one piece. This Christmas tree is one piece.
Nice.
You can't take it apart.
Oh, right. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen one like that.
That reminds me of an old joke. How do you tell the drunks in the neighborhood? They still have their Christmas lights up in July. You know,
Can I ask you though? Did everyone? See, we had it here because everyone was stuck in lockdown over Christmas. They locked us in. Christmas decorations went up on I think the middle of October. People started putting Christmas decorations up because they were bored.
Yeah.
It was. There you go. He doesn't want anyone to see his Christmas tree anymore. Look.
But he's got the lights.
He's still got the lights up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can have a disco party.
I-400, if you're wondering.
Oh,
is that the resin printed one?
No, the resin printed one, I'm not showing anyone until I'm done. That's my newest version. This was my first version.
It's classified.
I see.
It's classified.
Yeah.
He's got it underneath. He's got it underneath the satellite protective cover.
I do a lot of different things, and like that's my latest thing. I just printed. That's a resin printed flak gun for my Type 9 long conning tower. That was all. This is all one piece in resin.
What machine?
Dave, mine's just finished.
Which Type 9? From which manufacturer?
Yeah, Dave.
Dave made it.
But my Type 9 is an angle Type 9.
What scale?
145.
Man, I got to talk to you. I got an old boat that's come out of Aikens. I started this boat over 30 years ago, and I was overcome by events. It sat on the shelf for decades. I'm just getting it done. It's a 145th scale Type 9. Company was Aikens out of Minnesota. Fiberglass hull. And I am desperate for the armament for that boat. It's supposed to be the U-505, but it can be any generic Type 9.
Well, the main reason why I need that new gun is because in the smaller conning tower, they didn't use that gun because it was early war. But in the longer conning tower that came late war, they changed the gun, and that was one of them. And then there's also a twin barrel version of that gun I just showed you, and I'll be working on that shortly to get just to get it done. You know.
Well, I got to stay in touch because the parts that I have were this soft pot metal, and it just wants to bend every time you touch it. And it like I said, this kit is like 35 years old.
Looks like it came out good.
There you go, Dave. It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, looks like it came out good.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the hot water in a minute and get all the supports off. But yeah, that's come out smart. It only finished about 20 minutes ago. So
where do you get the files for this?
I got this from Dave. Dave was really nice and really helped me out. So if you want this particular one, you have to speak to him, not me. Him.
That file was, okay, I will put it this way. I get and make the files from the same place those people on Shapeway get the files. That's how I do it. You know what I mean? The people who sell those conning towers and guns for like $100 on Shapeway. Yeah. So it's.
I don't know, Dave. You're making it sound like there might be something crooked involved.
Oh, there is. It's not anything to do with Dave's crooked.
No, for me, it's not. There's a ton of work that went into that file that I did. A ton of work. And it's just that the original origins of it's not,
Dave, you're digging yourself a hole. Just say
yeah. Just put it that way.
It's done.
Stop digging.
Which kind of conning tower you have? Which type? 1, 2, 3, 4? Double platform?
Yeah. Matt, what conning tower was that you just had in your hand?
That's for Type 7.
But
I've got basically Shearline used to do a Type 7. It's not very good, but the conning tower was awesome. So I decided just to make the conning tower and sell the tower. It's 1/40th scale, so it'll go on the old Robbies, and it's fiberglass. So I just knocked that one up. That's there you go. Got all the grid details in it.
The conning tower type 1 is this. Dave, which kind? With 2 3.7 centimeters and I
don't know, whichever one was on the type 9 D2 submarine. I forget what number it was. Oh God, what's number is that sub?
177, I think.
Well, yeah, but I bought the at the time before I got into resin printing. I bought the optional conning tower from what's the name of that place in Germany?
The flat pack one. Yeah. I must get his deck for the Type 9 because he does a really nice deck. I got
the deck from him in the model something in Germany. That's all I can't remember exactly.
Model bow, isn't it?
Model bow, that's the one.
Model bow, yeah. Nice, he's really nice. He's nice to talk to as well.
Yeah.
What's the company name?
Model bow. You were talking about it the other day.
Model bow?
Because they make the hull in styrene, I think, the decking in styrene and the
he does all the laser cutting.
I thought that was a show.
Modellbau Wikinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did the whole decks and the conning towers and but it is in resin, not that resin.
It's plasticard.
Yeah, it's ABS, styrene.
Yeah, but it does look smart, and it definitely I bought his stuff to make my U-47 look the nuts, and then I didn't do anything with it. I moved on to better things once I'd done the U-47.
But that was before I got into resin and figuring out what to do with files and stuff like that. Now I have, I can either modify files to make it work, and I will be doing a conning tower for the Type 9 as well for my friend that he wants a Type 9 conning tower, and I'll be doing the whole thing in resin. I mean, for now, for me, this conning tower I bought is okay. I mean, I mess around with stuff. I like, this is one of my first attempts at making a GATO conning tower.
I was about to say, you did the GATO conning tower, and it came out smart, dude.
Yeah. So I learn and I make mistakes, and it's that's how you get better. You make mistakes. I make a lot.
I absolutely love the resin printer, but I think that the toughest learning curve with that was supports.
Yes.
Islands, little islands, you got to really look at it before you start printing, to make sure you don't get these separate islands, and then supports, and how to arrange those supports so you do a minimal cleanup, yet the thing, because the first month they were all sticking to the clear plastic. They weren't sticking to the build plate. And then I just learned I was doing the automatic support, and you put as many supports on as you can with, be careful. I saw a couple of YouTube videos, a guy explained how to do that.
See, I do the automatic supports and then I add supports.
Okay.
Now, something I didn't know, and my missus has decided to get involved in printing models to paint, like figurines. So she comes into the workshop, kicks me off the computer and starts slicing. So she puts medium supports on, and then she clicks the button that's light supports. Now, I thought that wiped them all out. No, she's now adding light supports, and then she goes, "Oh, I want a heavy support." She clicks heavy, and then she's next to me, she's putting heavy supports in. And this thing came out like a right lattice.
Yeah.
But it printed first time. I felt like a mug, and and now there are 15 models she's printed now, and it's like this one. I put all the supports on that, but as soon as when I go in the boat, I will put boiling water onto that, and then just watch the supports fall off, or you just pick them. I mean, that's the trick. I mean, don't take the supports off when it's like that, because they just will they leave little nibbles, or they don't come off properly. As soon as you put them in hot water, that's it, they're clean.
So do you wash it first with like the alcohol, then the hot water? All right.
Yes.
All right.
Because if you look at it, this has just come out the printer. As you can see, it's quite sticky and manky. So the first thing I'll do is dump that in acetone, give it a good wash off.
Okay,
and then
that.
Get it clean.
So you see, the acetone will work too. It won't eat it away.
No, acetone's just as good. Just as good.
That's good, because I bought like tons of isopropyl alcohol, but that's expensive.
You can get that at on Amazon and on what is it? Walmart. Walmart.com. They had 2 gallons for $29.99. 99%.
I love the resin printer. I really do. The detail is phenomenal, and all that you can do with it.
But you've got the Mars. You've got the same.
I got the Mars 2 Pro.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the Saturn
2 Pro.
Yeah.
Guys, this is a little bit over my pay grade here. I think I'm going to leave. Y'all have a good one.
Oh, no.
Stay safe, Ernie, okay?
Yeah, see you later, dude.
We'll see you next time. All right.
Have a good one.
This is why I want a new conning tower for my GATO. I want a 3D print. I want because I don't like this conning tower.
Yeah, I want to redo mine too. The one I got it on one of Bob's basket sales or whatever he's got, and it came with. It must have been done by Shapeways. It's a nice sale, but you got all the striations in it. I want to see if I can do that. Maybe redo the sail in using the Mars printer. Even if I did it in half and glued it together, I'd probably come out better. I don't know if it's because it's a 1/48. It's about yay big, probably bigger than a build plate.
That's what this one. Yeah, that's what this one is too. I mean, you'd have to chop it in half because even mine, even with the with mine, it's the maximum length from side to side. I think it's 200.
200 millimeter. Okay.
I think it's 200. 200 or 196. One of those. I can't remember.
Ours is about the same size, Matt. Our build plate.
Yeah.
I think we're slightly bigger.
Yeah. I will get the satin. I need the satin because I want to redo the Trafalgar. I want to redo this conning tower because you see it's quite flat, and I want to put the I don't know what they call them, the bulb in the back there, and I want to sort of make it a bit more 3D. Even though you've got all the detail in there, I want to upgrade it, and I'm also want to change it to the S to make the Trafalgar into an S class because all it is a different conning tower and a different rear rudder.
So how would you how would you build, how would you align that, something like that in relation to the build plate? Would you do it flat up or would you angle it or?
I must admit, something like this, I've actually printed it like that, but I know Dave does it differently. He likes to stick his at weird angles. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, something like this, you'd have to hollow it out. So
yeah,
I would most probably print it like I did my, here we go. So bye-bye lighter. I 3D printed this. I designed it, 3D printed it, and I did it in sections. But I 3D printed it with all that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Right? Yeah, so it just drained out.
It just drains out.
And I would most probably do the conning tower for the Trafalgar exactly the same and just have all the holes already there. So drain out and I can mold that. And all you got to do is put your finger and punch them out. Make your life easier, make the builders easier. I mean, but that's the astute one. That's the master for the astute. And all I've got left to do on this is all the plate work detail. Now, this is where resin printing wins. Something.
Oh, yeah. What you're doing, can't show that. That's incredible stuff.
Oh, well, my nuttiness.
To those of you here who don't have a 3D printer, you gotta get one. Even if you're just doing periscopes and stuff like that, it'll take care of all. I mean, this is now the hobby that's gonna take the guy who just, it looks good enough, to that award-winning boat.
I mean, this is an upholder. So this is an OCW upholder that I just didn't like the fact it had no detail, no panel work on it. And this is an experiment for the astute. And as you can see, I've got all the panel detail. I've got to wash this with acetone, get all this cleaned up before painting. But you've got the vents in there. You've got the detail and the things there. You've got the rudders.
You're building it like a real submarine. You're putting that. Yeah, you're putting the anechoic tiles on like a real submarine.
Well, it's an experiment because obviously I wanted to do this as an experiment purely for that, and that's going to get all the same treatment done to it, but that's going to turn into a fiberglass mold. So that's my master. So when you get if anyone buys the astute once it's done, it will look like that, all that detail. And as you can see, all right, it's got a lot of dust on it because it ain't been used for about a year, but even that one up there, you can actually really see it. Oh, actually, now what am I talking about? Let's look at Ed's one. There we go. Let's just look at Ed.
Oh, Ed.
Okay, take care, gentlemen.
No worries. See you later.
Take care.
Take care.
See you later, dude. Have a good one. But you can see that's why this sort of stuff, I can't do this in litho plate. And that's how all these masters were done. They were originally done with litho plate and they were scored and all the detail was put on there. And I can't do it. I'm not good enough.
I tell you, it's an exciting time to be in this hobby. I feel like the 3D, is another level. Now, Matt, I know you said like as a vendor, you're worried about, the common guy, but still, there's a lot more like Dave. I'll mention his holiness. He's posh on the. It's not a skill. For you put the file in, but to create that file is a skill. I've been a CAD. I've been a printed circuit board designer for 31 years. I work with mechanical engineers that use SolidWorks to do finite stress testing with. And I have a tough time understanding SolidWorks. I got to use Tinkercad in order to get the 3D concepts right. But forming, making
let
forms,
me show you something.
that's a skill and a craft in itself, understanding 3D modeling.
Right. So you're talking about SolidWorks or better
Yeah.
Right. So I'm actually doing all the plate detail work at the moment for the deck. And if I go that way, you'll see that that's the astute. So all the plans for the astute are on there. I did all my ribs like that. And I laser cut them out, which gave him my form, plank on frame. And this is now me doing the panel detail for the deck. And there you go. You can see I've already drawn, sketched around that. And these are all bits that will come out on the resin printer. Once I plate these all off, you'll have all this detail on there. I've done all of it. And it takes a lot of time. This has taken now 3 months to start doing this. And now I've got 5 different pages of different stages. I mean, if I go to this section over here of the plans, you can actually see, here's the tile work on the hull, right? That's one size. Then you've got on the tower, you've got that size, which is even smaller. And then you've got another band that runs along this section, which is even smaller still. So it's getting that detail onto the 3D print itself. And as Dave would say, this takes a lot of time, and there's a lot of skill, and I'm still learning. I mean, I'm still working in 2D. I haven't learned how to use 3D yet.
Well, I mean, you see, I'm waiting. I got a private project I'm going to share with you guys that I have a reason I want to learn 3D, and that's with this bad jammer. Okay, that's the model I want to make. Okay, that's
weird.
That's Doppelganger from Journey to the Far Side of the Sun.
Oh yeah.
That's my hope, is to somehow learn. How can I take, because this is obviously a 2D file. I got a side view, front and back. So how can I transform that? How do you do that? Taking this model in particular, or what about this model?
I know there is so much you got to do. See, this is the thing. It gets nuts. I mean, I can't find any plans for Stingray. I've got pictures, but no plans.
Right.
And there it is. And I've got to finish off this top section. And I have no idea how I'm going to get that done.
You know,
it's
how right. Does anybody know where to get Jerry Anderson, drawings?
No, but I do know someone who's in the archives who is helping me out, but it's been a bit slow. Yeah. I'm hoping that he'll get back to me soon and help me out, because that's all that's left to do on Stingray. It's just the top. I mean, everything else is done. Just wait to get rubbered, and then I can mold it and we can start selling it.
Right.
There she is. Still looking good. Still looking gloried. I've got the old tabs on there now. Still.
Oh, look at that! Let's go 1999.
Oh, brilliant!
Since we were talking Jerry Anderson, I had to
Yeah, I got the licenses from the ITV to produce this.
Did you really?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, it was a headache. Don't
Really?
want to do that again.
It seems like they must give out a lot of licenses, because there's quite a few different manufacturers doing Space 1999 stuff.
Yeah,
but stuff like Thunderbirds and Stingray, you can get it. Basically, ITV turned around and said to me, after a lot of backwards and forwards, that they turned around and said I was too small for them to worry about. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine by me. So, because just a little bit of history, this is actually an original. This was one of the first ones that came out of the molds for the TV show, and it got thrown in a skip.
Wow.
And a friend of mine picked it up out the skip, molded it for himself, and then I ended up with the one that went in the skip. And I can tell you, there's been a lot of work done on this to get this anywhere near what this looks like now. But there you go. This is what they used on the surface shots. And then they used to use for the going behind the fish tanks. They were about that big. So I've got the bigger one of the two. There you go.
Incredible.
But yeah, so that's a bit of history for you. It's just one of those wonderful things you end up collecting. I got all sorts of stuff I've got collected. I mean, sitting at the back there is a 32 well. I've got more stuff than I need. Anyway, gents, it's been wonderful chatting to you. I've just had a message from my missus saying, "Where the hell are you?"
Yeah. Guys,
I gotta say goodbye too.
Yeah. I think we ought to call it. All right,
And
guys.
call it, guys. Thank you for sticking around for having a gossip while I come back. But hopefully next week will be in time.
Matt, be on time next time. I got another surprise for you.
Oh, all right. What is this now going to be lighting up guns again, like you sent me in your email?
Yeah, put it away, Frank. Nobody's interested.
Hang on, I can't see it.
Take care.
Later.
See you later, guys. Have a good one.
See you
Bye,
later.
everybody.
Bye bye.